Most people think building wealth is like a chemistry experiment. If you put in the right ingredients, a bit of stock trading, a dash of real estate, and a high-salary job, the result is financial freedom. But if that were true, every high-paid physicist and math professor would be a billionaire. The truth is much more uncomfortable. The Psychology of Money isn't a book about finance. It's a diagnosis. It's an exposure of the quiet ways your own biology and evolution are working against your bank account. In this video, we are going to dive deep into the 18 mental traps that silently destroy your financial future. We aren't just looking at charts, we're looking in the mirror. By the end of this masterclass, you'll understand why reasonable beats rational, why your ego is your biggest expense, and how to stay in the game long enough to let the universe do the heavy lifting for you. Before we start, if you feel like you're working hard but your net worth is standing still, you aren't alone. I've developed the Money Mastery System, a Notion-based framework used by wealthy individuals to plan their spending and automate their psychology. Check the link in the description to take control today. Now, let's get into the first diagnosis. Trap 1. You think you're logical. Why do two people look at the same stock, let's say Nvidia or Bitcoin, and one buys while the other sells? Neither is crazy. They are just playing different games based on their history. If you grew up during the 2008 housing crash, your logic tells you the market is a dangerous casino. If you entered the market in 2017 during the crypto boom, your logic tells you volatility is a ladder to wealth. The shift. Stop trying to find the right answer. Start finding the answer that helps you sleep at night. That is the only math that matters. Trap 2. The Bill Gates factor. Luck versus risk. We idolize success, but we ignore the tail events. Bill Gates is a genius, but he was also one of the only teenagers in the world in 1968 with access to a teletype computer at Lakeside School. Now compare him to his friend Kent Evans. Kent was just as brilliant, but Kent died in a mountaineering accident before graduating. One received a 1 in a million stroke of luck. The other, a 1 in a million stroke of risk. The lesson. Be humble when you win and forgiving when you lose. Nothing is as good or as bad as it seems. Trap 5 and 6. The man in the car paradox. In the USA, we are obsessed with looking successful. We see a $200,000 Ferrari and we think, wow, that guy is a boss. But here's the paradox. No one is impressed with your stuff as much as you are. When you see that car, you don't think about the driver. You imagine yourself in the driver's seat. You are using the driver as a mirror for your own desires. The reality. Wealth is what you don't see. It's the expensive car not bought, the first-class ticket not booked. Wealth is the option to walk away from a job you hate. If you spend your money to show people how much money you have, you will soon have no money. Trap 7. Looking rich versus being rich. Spending money to look rich is the fastest way to stay poor. True wealth is silent. It's the compounding interest in a brokerage account that no one on Instagram knows about. In the US, the millionaire next door usually drives a 5-year-old Ford and wears a plain t-shirt. They don't need your validation because they have something better. Certainty. Trap 13. The Warren Buffett illusion. Let's talk about Warren Buffett. He is worth over $100 billion. But did you know that 95% of that wealth was created after his 65th birthday? Our brains are not designed to understand exponential growth. We think linearly. We think if we work 10% harder, we get 10% more. But compounding is a slow burn that turns into a forest fire. The strategy. You don't need the highest returns. You just need pretty good returns that you can sustain for the longest period of time. Survival is the greatest investment strategy. Trap 15. Buying time, not stuff. The highest dividend money pays is control. Being able to wake up and say, "I can do whatever I want today," is the ultimate flex. Social scientists have found that the strongest predictor of happiness isn't your income level. It's the sense of autonomy over your schedule. If you use your money to buy a bigger house that requires you to work more hours at a job you hate, you haven't moved up. You've just built a more expensive cage. Trap 10. You want the gains, but not the price. Everything has a price, but in investing, the price isn't on a price tag. The price of a 10% annual return is uncertainty, fear, and volatility. When the market drops 20%, most people view it as a fine, like they broke a law and are being punished. But you should view it as a fee, like a ticket to Disneyland. If you want the ride, you have to pay the fee. The lesson. If you can't handle the gut punch of a market dip, you don't deserve the gains of the market recovery. Trap 18. Playing someone else's game. This is how most Americans lose their shirts in the market. They see a 22-year-old day trader making $50,000 on a meme stock, and they try to copy him. But that 22-year-old is playing a 24-hour game. You are playing a 30-year game for your retirement. When you take advice from someone playing a different game, you are destined to lose. The action. Define your time horizon. If you are a long-term investor, stop listening to people who care about what happens tomorrow. Trap 17. You forget that you will change. Psychologists call it the end of history illusion. We look back and see how much we've changed, but we assume we won't change in the future. The you at age 20 wanted a fast car. The you at 30 wants a house. The you at 50 wants peace. The fix. Avoid extreme financial goals. Don't be the person who lives on rice and beans for 20 years just to save every penny, because you might wake up at 40 and realize you missed your youth. Aim for moderation. It's the only thing you can sustain for a lifetime. Trap 16. The historians as prophets trap. The biggest risks are always the ones no one mentions. No one in 2019 was talking about a global pandemic in their 5-year financial plan. The most important event in your life will be something you didn't see coming. The solution. Save money for no reason. Don't save for a car or a house. Save for the unknown. Because when the unknown happens, your savings will be the only thing that keeps you calm while the world panics. Wealth is 20% head knowledge and 80% behavior. You now have the diagnosis. You know the traps. You know that your ego is a liability and time is your greatest asset. In the USA, the American dream is often sold as more, more, more. But the real dream is freedom. The freedom to sleep well at night knowing that even if the world goes crazy, your plan is built to survive. If this video helped you understand your own mind a little better, hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that financial psychology matters. And remember, define enough before the world defines it for you. Start the Money Mastery System, link below, to automate your logic. Subscribe to Success Mindset to keep learning how to master the man in the mirror.